Shout out to the supporters of Tupac Was Lyrical. Let me jump right into it. Tupac wanted Biggie Smalls to respond to Hit 'Em Up. Tupac was really on some hip-hop, S-H-I-T. He wanted Biggie Smalls to respond to Hit 'Em Up. In fact, this is what Tupac said.
And all that shit about my homeboys telling me, don't sweat that, he's dissing me, but all my friends telling me not to. Oh, so you're following now? So you a follower now? Why didn't your homeboys tell you not to make rhymes when you shooting pregnant babies in the stomach? You know what I mean?
So as you hear, Biggie's people telling him don't respond to Tupac, but they didn't mind the other type of lyrics that Biggie would put out. That was extremely explicit. That was extremely hostile. Talking about the things that Biggie Smalls talked about. You heard certain songs where Biggie says, don't you know my nigga gutter kidnap? And, Biggie said a lot of things that was, pause-worthy. You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. But Tupac was just like, yo, so you ain't going to respond to that? You know what I mean? You going to listen to your dudes and you ain't going to respond back to me? Tupac also said,
the same thing they love about me, they gotta admire in me, but they forgot. Biggie forgot that same shit that made him want to kick it with me is the same shit that's whooping his ass right now. Right. And that's why when he talks, you can hear it in his interviews. He want to say, I wish I could take this shit back, but he can't. He already committed himself to lying. So now the only thing he can do is act like he don't know what the fuck is going on and listen to it. Think. People have to think.
Basically, he's saying Biggie loved everything about Tupac's personality, character, his bravery, his heart, the kind of person that he was. He respected that. But when the energy that Biggie respected was directed towards Biggie, Biggie couldn't handle that. Biggie couldn't handle that. Biggie didn't, there was really nothing that he could really say to Tupac besides the subliminal shit that he would say. Whereas, in my opinion, I think that Biggie really should have responded to Hit 'Em Up, because, especially if it would have been fire, because it wasn't like Biggie was a whack artist.
Thou shalt not fuck with North Sea Papa. Feel 1,000 deaths when I drop ya.
It wasn't like Biggie was a whack lyricist. It wasn't like Biggie was a whack rapper. It wasn't like Biggie ain't got joints, because he does. And I feel if Biggie would have made something fire, something real fire, to the point where Tupac would have had to be like, damn, wow, this, woo. You know what I mean? Then Tupac has to respond to that. So now we got some hip hop shit going, because there wasn't really no hip hop shit going. Hit 'Em Up was just something that a lot of people wasn't ready for. You know what I mean? They wasn't ready for that. Whereas they should have been, if you know anything about battle records. The Bridge Is Over was like the blueprint for Hit 'Em Up. You seen how KRS-One came at MC Shan and some of the people in the Juice Crew. So that was in 1986. 10 years later, Tupac makes Hit 'Em Up. So The Bridge Is Over was a blueprint on how you do diss records. But it's just that when you got a person like Tupac, his personality, his character, his bravery, his heart, everything about him is next level. It's like, damn, I want to keep it hip hop with this nigga, but I don't think I can keep it hip hop with this nigga. But if you would have kept it hip hop with the nigga, I think Biggie and Tupac would still be alive. That's my opinion, because the focus would have been more on hip hop. So by Biggie not responding, it just made Tupac feel like I'm on top of the world. I ain't gonna front. Tupac probably had an ego. Like, man, I came at Biggie. He supposed to be this king of New York. I'm coming after all these dudes that roll with them. Tupac felt invincible, so to speak. Now, if Biggie would have responded and the record would have been dope, Tupac would have had to been like, you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, because his Outlaws, Suge Knight, Snoop Dogg, Dog Pound, whoever else would have been looking at Tupac like, yo, Biggie came at you, bro. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? So it would have got on some real hip hop shit. And if Tupac would have retaliated back and it wouldn't have been strong, that would have been the problem. But also, that would have humbled Tupac. It would have calmed his ego down to the point where Tupac probably would have never wilded out in MGM in Las Vegas. It would have been certain things that he didn't do. But due to the fact that Biggie didn't keep it hip hop, when Tupac brought it to him on some hip hop shit, even though Tupac was like, this ain't no freestyle battle, you niggas getting killed, and he said a lot of reckless shit in the song Hit 'Em Up, Biggie never responded. And those who did respond to Tupac felt like what Mobb Deep had.
Think fast and get reminded of robberies in Manhattan. You know what happened, 60 G's worth of gun clapping.
Drop a gin on him. He felt like that wasn't really nothing. The issue that he had with Nas, he took care of that. He handled that stuff like that. Certain niggas responded, but Biggie didn't respond. I think these niggas responded back to Tupac because they ain't know Tupac as well as Biggie knew Tupac. But if Biggie would have, really responded with a song that's like doper than Who Shot You, and Tupac would have had to deal with that shit, the reality of how dope it was, and Tupac will have to make a record that's doper than that. And if he doesn't make a record that's doper than that, then he got to deal with the fact that Biggie particularly won that battle. So if anything Tupac would have did following that, if you would have got violent with Biggie or all this other stuff because Biggie's song was better than yours, then that would have been on Tupac. That would have made Tupac look foolish. But I doubt Tupac would have handled that shit like that. He would have just been like, yo, damn, I can't fuck with Biggie. That was a dope-ass record. You know what I'm saying? Or if Tupac would have made something that's just as hard, now, both of these two top-notch great artists going at it, it would have just been dope for hip-hop culture. And I truly think that Biggie and Tupac would still be alive today if Biggie would have responded to the song Hit 'Em Up. So that's what Tupac wanted. Tupac definitely wanted Biggie to respond. He, and what made it bad, let me say this, what made it bad for Biggie in the long run is that he did respond to Tupac after Tupac died. A lot of people took issue with Biggie performing Long Kiss Goodnight, and it seems like a subliminal diss record towards Tupac. And you spitting this after Tupac is dead. A lot of people still take issue with that to this day. Another person that dissed Tupac after he died was Jay-Z, which was corny because Jay-Z had ample time to diss Tupac. If you felt, this is the crazy shit about that. If you felt that Tupac needed to, get dissed and needed to hear that, and you ain't care if he was dead or alive, and you knew Tupac was in the hospital recovering, which was September 7th, and Jay-Z didn't spit this so-called alleged diss record at the Apollo until September 13th, the day Tupac died, that was a real bitch move, because you could have spit that shit the day Tupac was in, when he first got shot up, or the next day. You could have did that before he died. Or you could have just dropped the diss record like what made Jay-Z come to the realization like, yo, I need to diss Tupac now that he's dead. What made Jay-Z feel like he needs to diss Tupac at that point in time on September 13th, knowing that Tupac was dead? Why you ain't spit that shit September 12th, September 11th, September 10th, September 9th, September 8th, or the day Tupac got shot up on September 7th? Why? Why not? If you knew about Tupac was dissing you before that, because it wasn't like Tupac was dissing you from September 7th to the 13th, because he was in the hospital trying to survive the gunshots. So therefore, he couldn't diss you. So you had to know that Tupac dissed you prior to Tupac being shot up on September 7th. But if Jay-Z heard that Tupac dissed him, and he ain't hear about it until after Tupac was shot, and then it got to him, you know what I mean? Then you should have just released that record before he died. I know Jay-Z ain't get the diss record from Tupac or hear that Tupac has something to say about him on September 13th. Logically, it just doesn't make sense. And that wasn't on no hip-hop shit. It wasn't on no hip-hop shit what Biggie did by spitting Long Kiss Goodnight after Tupac died. It would have been on some hip-hop shit if he would have responded to Hit 'Em Up after he heard Hit 'Em Up. That's what Tupac wanted. Tupac wanted a response. He really wanted that shit.
And anybody that try to help them, I will destroy. Whether it's whoever it is, I will destroy. And that's what I'm doing. Everybody that try to side with him or do a record with him or try to unify with him, I'm going to destroy. I swear to God.